Michole, Russell, thank you very much for your time today. I really enjoyed both of your roles in the film, and there are so many questions regarding the Black family dynamic at the time, so I'll just jump right into it. Russell, the type of parenting that you did in the film is akin to the type of male parentage and male mentorship that I recall, for better or worse. They were hands-on, and a lot of times you had to get up in your son's face. Did you experience that sort of male parenting and mentorship? And how does that juxtapose the way you parent your own children these days, your boys especially?
Great question. I appreciate that. And in short, yes, I did. I was raised this way. I was raised, my father being from Pittsburgh, my mother from Boston, from Roxbury. It was a do as I say, not as I do. It was, be seen and not heard. Parents cussed. They laid hands on you, lovingly and otherwise. And they told you how they felt. And again, I said before that I've been, I'm a citizen of the world. And so I've been in a lot of different communities, different regions of the country and all that kind of stuff, and seen a lot of different parents and how they raise their kids. And the men that raised me raise you with that sense of tough love. You know what I mean? All the mentors that I had. And so, I bring that into my roles because I believe that there is still, at the undercurrent, there's a love present. Mm-hmm. But I think what we did not take into account at that time was the frustration, was the pain, was the psychological warfare that I speak, that I know the families were going through, the parents were going through, but specifically the fathers. Mm-hmm. And so, not having the means to pay for what their kids not just want, but what they need. And then what does that do to you as a man when you're walking in your house and you're deficient? Do you know what I'm saying? And so that kind of pain, it transfers over to how you treat your children. It transfers over into how you treat your wife and how you treat your loved ones, because the fatigue, being tired from working 3 and 4 jobs, from working those late shifts, it starts to sit on you, right? It becomes a yoke that you can't get rid of, right? And so I think we oftentimes don't really understand what Black folk were going through at that time, or we don't speak to it. Do you know what I mean? And so to come full circle to answer your question, is my 2 boys, I've been fortunate enough to do well in this business. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, the greatest gift that this business has given me is time. And so I have time to now rest. I have time to take time to be with my children, to take time to be with my wife. I have time to give my boys deep, hugs, you know what I mean? And kisses on their cheek. I have time to say to my wife, hey, baby, can we take a walk and figure this out? I have time to go to a neutral corner, right? And find out what it is that's grief, that's pain, that's hurting me, that's causing me pain, and then come back in a different way and say, hey, this is what I've been going through, or whatever like that. And so therefore, I'm able to raise my children differently. I don't have to lay the hands on them that were laid on me, lovingly or otherwise, right? I don't have to, raise my voice to a level that brings fear into their heart. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying? Lovingly or otherwise. And so because of that, I believe my children are being raised in a different way. And so, but because of the time that I have, when they see that daddy is disappointed, it drops, it sets on them differently now. Mm-hmm. In a way that because my parents were absent due to the work that they had to do to bring the money home, when they came down and drilled down on you, it was just fear. It wasn't love. Mm-hmm. And I think that they didn't at the time understand where the love was coming from. It was just the pain of what they had to do to discipline their children.
Indeed. Oh, such a well thought out answer. Thank you, Russell. Michole, your character struck me in another way, a familiar way, where, you know, she's trying to run a household, raise children, deal with a man who's disappointed in his standing in life. And then here comes your oldest son doing stuff that you don't want him to do, but he's got the money. Like he seemingly, even if only from an aesthetic standpoint, seemingly has the answers. Could you talk about what it was like playing that role? And did you see something similar in your coming up that afforded you the extra munitions, if you will, to play that character out to fruition?
Let's see. I'll say this. You know, women at that time period, and you know, I had the good fortune of actually being able to speak to the real Mrs. Flannery and what her struggles were. But women were a little more submissive during that time, and particularly spiritually in the Christian community, which is how they were coming up. So she had to gently do things. So she was more of a quiet storm, laid back, still running things and the anchor of the family. And yeah, it was challenging. And, you know, all the things that Russell said about his upbringing and just what Black men go through during that time and now, because, you know, like he said, he's fortunate enough to be able to work, to be able to provide his children a different sense of calm than what a lot of Black men are able to create for their families then and now. And so anyway, so she has to, you know, kind of navigate both sides of the fence in a way to really keep her husband calm and to really do her best to balance out these children. And that is a tricky dynamic, because for Lucille, family is the most important thing. She will do anything for her children, and she will do anything to keep just family together, period. And the thought of losing that is deeply, deeply traumatic for her. So yeah, it's a fine line to do that, but she finds a way to do it from a very grounded place, and really trying to keep the balance here, and without him knowing everything.
Right, and that's another thing.
Yeah, she will handle him quietly, you know.
as most sisters do.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Well, they're telling me to wrap it up. Is there anything I may have neglected to ask you about the film or your roles that you'd like for my readership to know about?
I think you really deep, great questions, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The biggest thing is that, you know, we just hope people will watch with compassion and understanding of the kinds of things that happen in communities like this. And I really hope that on some level that it helps to provide more support for communities like this in need. So that's what I'll say.
Excellent. Thank you so much. The series is great. And I hope to talk to you again soon on some of your other works. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Ricardo. Have a good one, brother.
All right.